Hey, good morning. Friday Coffee Talks number 32. I can't believe we've made it. This week has absolutely flown by. Went with the quad shot today for the Jackets. That's right. Football is back. Can you believe it? The Jackets play tomorrow. We had our first college football game last night. My brother-in-law is stoked that the Buckeyes won. We're in the throes of fantasy football. We did my very first fantasy draft of the year this week. My wife joined the league. It couldn't be more excited about football. So we're all Georgia Tech all the time over here. We've even changed the background lights to be white and gold for the Jackets. Head to toe Tech stuff. We're ready for game day tomorrow. But today's episode is actually going to be about something business related. And just a heads up, maybe a little controversial, I guess, among salespeople that may be watching. So I want to talk about something that is maybe a touchy subject, maybe a little bit taboo. I don't know. And that is paying for prospects, paying for attention from leads. It's an interesting concept because on one hand, it's seen as like a really no-no, really big no-no, really tacky. But on the other hand, other versions of it are done all the time. So, I mean, in sales, you hear about all the time of people taking people to lunches and dinners and buying alcohol and happy hours, which are great. They're hallmarks of our job. It's part of the fun part of what we get to do. But then, game tickets and events and, gifts, giveaways, things like that. I mean, people do that all the time. And granted, some companies are significantly more extravagant than others in their giveaways and things like that. But when you really boil it down to it, when you're trying to break into a new account or prospect into a new group of people, it's really about capturing the attention and getting somebody to open your cold email or answer your call or take a look at what you have to say. Now, I'm not getting into the problems versus products discussion because I feel like that's settled. If you're selling a feature set, if you're selling a product, you're not going to do super well as if you're selling a problem that you solve. So we're not talking about that. I'm talking purely about what we're doing on the front end of new opportunities, new projects, meeting new people in the industry to get their attention, to get them to say yes to that initial meeting. And it's an interesting thing. I mean, if you can master this, you're going to have a very, very successful sales career. In my opinion, it's probably one of the hardest things about sales is getting your foot in the door, getting that first meeting. Some people, like I said before, some people do it with gifts and giveaways, and I use that as well. I mean, it's something that you do, but I saw it posted on LinkedIn a couple times this week, and that's what made me think about that this whole week is, how is buying somebody a luxury box at a football game any different from handing them a stack of cash? Now, let me preface this by saying I'm not handing wads of cash to anybody under the table. I'm not writing checks. This is purely a hypothetical discussion. But in my mind, as I kind of start to wrap around that, is if I have a person or a company or something like that I want to try to go work with, I put in a lot of time on the front end myself. That's maybe that's just me, but I feel like I owe it to the people that I'm going to go talk to research and be prepared and know what I'm talking about. So if I have done my research into the company and I know somewhat what their business model is, as far as I can tell, I've done my research into the person and I am fairly confident that I'm talking or addressing the right person. And I know my product, which you should if you're in sales. Pro tip. You should feel fairly confident that that conversation is going to go well. And when I talk to people for the first time, I go into it with that attitude because I've done my research. I've done my homework. I'm prepared for that conversation. To that end, if I were to offer somebody money in exchange for them not agreeing with me, I don't see the problem in that really. I could make the argument that if we have a meeting that I think is going to be well received and it's not, if a customer or a prospect thinks it's a complete waste of time, I should pay them for their time that I wasted. I don't see where there's a big issue in that. In fact, I think that would somewhat demonstrate my confidence and my preparedness as a seller. And if I'm trying to think about if I were being sold to and somebody came to me and said, hey, I have something that I think you're really going to like, and these are the reasons why. And if you don't agree with me at the end of it, I'll give you some money to compensate you for your time. I would take that meeting every single time. Absolutely. Because I think they've proven their value to me. Maybe that's, something that should happen. I don't know. I don't know. But maybe we have a discussion on it. Again, not writing anybody checks, not handing out dollar bills to anybody. But I don't know. Maybe I've just stumbled across something. So I'd love to hear from you. Love to have a discussion, have some feedback. Let me know. Let me know your thoughts, because I think this is really interesting. Thanks for joining number 32 of Friday Coffee Talks. Enjoy your coffee. May it be hot this weekend, and may your team win. Go Jackets!